What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Locked Alkaline King, and this is God Body University. Back at y'all with another one. So today I'll be discussing the birth of a protein and the birth of modern medicine. Basically describing how animals' protein became superior over plant protein, the birth of modern medicine, petrochemicals, and some stats on the healthcare industry as well. Okay, so if you're ready, let's get started. And I'm going to start this off with how animals' protein became superior over plant protein. Now, this was due to two biochemists by the name of Thomas Osborne and Lafayette Mendel, who were said to have discovered vitamin A and also the protein efficiency ratio, which is known as the PER, which all human needs are based off to this day. And that's basically like your food pyramid, how you got to have this much protein in this and the percentages and all of that. And they did this by conducting experiments from 1914 to 1920, feeding rats dairy products such as eggs, cheese, and other animal proteins, as well as plant proteins to measure their growth rate, see how fast they grow. Now, dairy products are derived from milk, such as the cheese, butter, yogurt, ice cream, things of that nature. And it's also important to know that milk contains a protein casein, which turns on cancer cells as well. But the main thing to note is cow's milk is for a baby calf and not a human baby. Okay, now your baby calf weighs about 65 to 90 pounds at birth, and within the first year can get between 700 and 1,000 pounds. Now your human baby is an average 7 pounds at birth and about 20 pounds within that first year. Okay, now that's a big difference. Okay, now cow's milk contains about 3.5% protein, whereas your woman's breast milk, woman's breast milk contains about 0.8 to 0.9% protein, which is galactose, which is your simple sugars or your monosaccharides, your natural occurring sugars in a woman's breast. That contains about 0.8 to 0.9% protein, so it's not even 1%. All right, now your cow's milk is more than double that amount. And that's because the amount of protein is linked to the amount of time it takes that particular species to grow in size. All right, so like I said, a cow can get up between the first year 700 to 1,000 pounds. Your human baby is an average 20 pounds. So that's a big difference. And the main thing to note also is that milk is for infancy. You don't see an adult cow. You don't see any adult animal in nature drinking milk from a female calf. It's only when you're growing, because that's when you're doing your that's your biggest growth spurt. So you need that protein to help you grow fast at an accelerated rate, basically. But too much of it, like I said, could cause diseases like osteoporosis, things of that nature. Now, after about 5 years of age, lactase, which is an enzyme that breaks down lactose, that enzyme begins to decrease in the body. Now, milk contains higher levels of protein, fats, and minerals compared to your woman's breast milk. All right. Now, therefore, cow's milk must be diluted and skimmed to closely resemble a woman's breast milk, showing you shouldn't be drinking it if you have to put it through that process in order for the baby to drink it. All right, now it was a article I think I seen on Google about a lady in New Orleans back when Hurricane Katrina came through. She got sent to prison for about 10 years, probably long. I believe she's still in prison for feeding her baby cow's milk because she didn't have any formula. I'm not sure of how the whole story was, but she was sent to prison. So, man, you just got to be careful and you just got to educate yourself on these things. Now, Osborne and Mendel's research concluded that animals' protein was superior to plant protein due to the accelerated growth of the animals that ate animal protein versus the rats that ate plant protein. So to fast forward from there, author of the China study, T. Colin Campbell, PhD, also conducted similar experiments to Thomas Osborne and Lafayette Mendel over a 30-year period. They were feeding rats the same animal's protein as well, but they broke them up in two different groups. They were feeding rats 20% protein, and they were also feeding rats 5% protein. The rats on 20% protein all developed cancer, and they all died. And the rats that ate 5% protein did not develop any cancer, and they did not die. And they also did experiments feeding rats 20% protein. They began to feed them 5% protein, and their cancer disappeared. And the rest that were eating 5% protein, they then started to feed them 20% protein, and they developed cancer. Okay, so it was established that cancer could be turned on by eating excessive proteins. These things are acidic and toxic to the body. Like I said, deprive the cells of oxygen. And it was also determined that it could be turned off by eating uh, 0.5 or 5, I said 0.5, 5% protein or plant protein as well. And like I stated before, quantities above the 2 to 8% of protein required must be metabolically processed by the kidneys. And this puts unnecessary stress on the body, which then leads to the degeneration of the kidneys. Okay. Now that brings me to my next point, okay, which is the birth of modern medicine. And I need you to remember one thing, if you don't remember anything else. Food is your medicine and medicine is your food, okay? Food is your medicine and medicine is your food. And this is what was taught before the birth of modern medicine as we know it today. And it was founded by oligarchs and plutocrats, which are rich business leaders with a great deal of political influence or whose power derives from wealth. And who other than the richest man in America at the time? No other than John D. Rockefeller. Now, he gained his wealth in the oil industry as well, okay? And by the early 1900s, he had gained control over 90% of the oil refineries known as through the Standard Oil Corporation. And these later became your Exxon, your Chevron, your Mobil gas stations as well. And he controlled production and delivery of oil in America as well. At the same time, scientists were discovering petrochemicals produced by the petroleum industry, such as the one John D. Rockefeller had owned. Okay, now petrochemicals, these are things that are derived from petroleum, such as gasoline, diesel, Vaseline, lip balm products, kerosene, surfactants, which are found in your shampoos, creams, and cleaning products as well. And aspirin, which are cancer-fighting drugs, penicillin, all of these are chemicals, you understand? So John D. Rockefeller also founded the American Cancer Society in 1913 as well. Now, he had no medical background at all besides his father being an herbalist. So his father did practice herbalism. He traveled the world back in the 1800s and selling herbal medicines. Now, petrochemicals are recognized to have mutagenic and also carcinogenic properties. Mutagenic meaning they have chemicals or physical agents capable of inducing changes in the DNA called mutations. And carcinogenic meaning they cause cancer. And 99% of pharmaceuticals contain petrochemicals. Now, due to the discovery of petrochemicals and what they could produce, this led Rockefeller to purchase a German pharmaceutical company, which was once owned by Adolf Hitler. All right. And they also manufactured chemical weapons in World War I, such as mustard gas. Now, mustard gas killed over 120,000 people in World War I as well. And if you don't know, by World War II, mustard gas was transformed into what we know today to treat cancer patients, which is chemotherapy. So chemotherapy is actually a mustard gas, which was used to kill 120,000 people in World War I. And mustard gas in cancer patients, it not only kills your bad cells, it kills your good cells. Hell, it kills all of your cells. That's why you see a lot of cancer patients losing a lot of their hair. They're very sluggish and tired because this chemotherapy, this radiation is just killing your cells. Your cells make up your tissues make up your organs, and your organs are which make up the beautiful person you are today. Okay, so we just have to be mindful of the things that we do health-wise to be healthy. Now, the great thing about petrochemicals for Rockefeller was that these petrochemicals could be patented and sold for higher profits. And back then, you could not patent natural products because all medicine comes from plants, all right? What they do is they isolate the constituents in the plants, like the opium family, or I forgot the proper name for it, but they isolate like the opium. And once you isolate a chemistry, you don't give it's not able to go through its natural processes within the body because you've isolated this chemistry. You've separated from all its other counterparts in that. Now, to further convince people, Rockefeller gave more than $100 million to colleges and hospitals as well, using his wealth to influence his decision. Scientists were even receiving grants and things of that nature to study how plants cure diseases. But the main goal was to identify which constituents in the plants were effective and then recreate a similar chemical to be patented. All right, chemicals kill. So they recreated similar chemicals that can be patented and sold for higher profits. A pill for an ill. All right. Now, Western medicine does have some good points and is great in emergencies such as traumas like gunshot wounds, car accidents, broken bones, things of that nature. But it's time you realize that today's mainstream medicine, with its focus on drugs, radiation, drugs, surgery, drugs, and more drugs, this is a Rockefeller creation. This is created by wealthy people with no focus on your health at all. All right. Now, 100 years later, we have doctors who know nothing about the benefits of nutrition, nor holistic practices and herbs. But most importantly, we have a healthcare system that pays no attention to the food system, and a food system that pays no attention to the healthcare system at all, which is the primary causes of these diseases. All right. We have a healthcare system controlled by money. And if you practice preventative care medicine, you make less money. And if you're a doctor in today's healthcare system and you're practicing preventative care medicine, you may be fired or penalized. So a lot of people are scared to lose out on their jobs, on money, on their careers, and things of this nature. So this is not healthcare. We are practicing sick care. Not healthcare, but sick care. That's what you're paying into year after year after year, sick care. Doctors do nothing to prevent disease. They just suppress the symptom by giving you chemicals, toxic chemicals, all right? Now, these toxicity of the medications they give you create new diseases called side effects. And for example, diseases of the heart is the leading cause of death in America. And instead of treating the patient holistically from the root problem, because all diseases begin in your gut, they don't heal your digestive system, then heal your organs like your kidneys, which deals with your heart. Because if you have a heart problem, then you have a kidney problem. So they should be going for your digestive system, then your kidneys and adrenal glands, then your cardiovascular, your circulation. So it's an art to healing, and they don't do that. They just suppress the symptom, which leads to more side effects. Okay, so these side effects of statins include Alzheimer's, liver damage, sexual dysfunction, and many more. Now, lastly, our healthcare system. In 2000, the Journal of the American Medical Association published an article by Barbara Starfield, MD, in which she stated that malpractice or adverse events from drugs or surgery were killing 225,000 people per year. All right, making our healthcare industry the third leading cause of death in America, right behind cancer and heart disease. All right, now that was in 2000. And in 2023, now today, so 23 years later, that number had grown to 400,000, almost double the amount of people dying due to malpractice or medical errors due to these doctors. All right, now 60% of Americans today are living with chronic disease, and an average of 75% of all healthcare spending in the U.S. is allotted to chronic disease. Now, the overall cost of chronic disease in America is $137 trillion. So they're making plenty of money because you are so ignorant to the fact of taking care of your body. You just don't care. You just eating whatever the hell you want to eat, and then you putting all of these chemicals in your body which are toxic, which kills and deprives your cells, all right, and cause mutations. Now, with an average cost of $6,032 a year, that is the average cost per individual living with chronic disease every year. Now, in conclusion, the benefits produced by eating a plant-based diet is far more diverse and impressive than any surgery and drug in medical practice. Additionally, impressive evidence now shows that advanced heart disease, cancers of all types, and diabetes can be reversed by eating a plant-based diet. So let yourself heal, or allow yourself to heal on nature's operating table instead of the operating table that is the third leading cause of death in America. All right. And also, please remember that food is your medicine and medicine is your food.